If you fail, that is not the end of the world. Yes, it does suck tremendously. I failed multiple certification exams, and it is in no way fun. You just spent 3 or 6 months preparing for this. You put your life on hold. You spent a ton of money on it. And all this for nothing?
And really, what you do next is going to determine how successful you're going to be, not just on ISACA certifications, but in life in general. Building an attitude of not giving up unless there's a good reason to do so is one of the key ways you can reach your goals. And something being difficult is most often not a good reason.
My first ever IT certification, I failed. So did 3 of the other people I was studying with. We weren't ready. Of the 4 of us, 2 of them just said, well, it's probably too difficult, I'm not good enough, I'm not going to waste more time, and left it at that. All the studying time was to some extent wasted. I had half a day of negative self-talk. Oh, this is all crap, I'm not good enough. I had the same thoughts. Then at some point I was like, no, that's not true. This certification is not going to get the better of me. I'm going to beat it. The other guy out of the group before that passed it eventually, he had exactly the same thoughts. We sat down, talked it over, sulked for a few days, felt bad for ourselves, and then we got back on the horse. My first fail was one of the exams for the CCNA, but today I have multiple CCNAs. I also have a CCNP. The guys who gave up have, well, no certifications. They are still, 7 years later, stuck in a job they don't like. So brush yourself off. Hopefully you have someone in your family who can help you with a positive self-talk, and then go back at it. After your exam, if you fail, you'll know how well you did and the domains you were weakest in.
If you do fail, I would book my next exam right away, because you can only test once in each 4-month window on any ISACA test. You can test on multiple of the tests. While you could, for instance, both take your CISA and your CISM, you cannot take the CISM or the CISA twice in a window. You have to wait for the next window. And there are 3 testing windows every year you can test in: February to May, June to September, and October to January. So when I booked my certification, I was a little bit tactical about the date. I booked it at the very end of the October to January testing window. That way, if I failed, I knew I would be able to test again within a few weeks, and I wouldn't have to wait up to 4 months.
If you do not reschedule it, chances are you never will. I know people who failed the exam, took a 3-month break, and forgot most of the knowledge. They then either have to start completely over, or most of them just give up. Oh, I forgot it all again. At that point, your efforts are wasted. Whereas if you start over again, get right back up on the horse, you start studying on your weak areas. After you pass, no one will care you failed. When I did my CCNP certification, I needed 690 points to pass. I got 688. Not very happy camper. And this was just around Christmas. So I went ahead, I waited the 5 days Cisco said I should, and scheduled the next exam for the next week. I knew where my weak areas were. I took another week of vacation and did nothing but study. Luckily, my wife was very supportive, and she helped me with that positive self-talk. You can do it. This is just a little bump in the road. You're going to beat this. I felt very strong in my weak areas. You can see the percentage on the CCNP exam. So I went into the exam confident, and I failed again. Again, 688 points out of 690. That's less than 1 question wrong. But because the CCNP also has a large question pool, and they don't have weighted domains, the first time I got a ton of BGP questions. I studied that, I was really solid in BGP, and then I got none of them. I did the same thing again. I was upset for half a day, and then I was even more determined. After the wait period was up, I took the certification again and passed with great scores. So really, failing means very little if you have the right attitude. If you understand, then you need to fail forward. Okay, I learned something. I now know how the exam works. I am better prepared for next time.
And yes, having to pay the $575 for ISACA members or the $760 for non-members is a bitter pill to swallow. But the 35% higher salary or the $115,000 a year easily offsets that.
If I look at my certification path and the ones I've passed and the ones I've failed, I've actually failed 5 out of 20 certifications. Every single certification I've failed, I later passed. Whenever I'm at a job interview or I'm applying for a new position, they don't care. Why would they? I passed it. I understood how to get past the defeat and eventually turn it into a win. And I completely understand. This is much easier saying than actually doing.
But remember, why are you doing the CISM?
What is it you want to get out of getting this certification? Has that changed? I would hope not. Since it hasn't changed, go forward. Don't let the certification get the better of you. Win.